Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah walhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in wa ba'd. So we want to review now the etiquette of answering the call to nature. And it has its obligations, its recommendations, things that are disliked and things that are forbidden. And it's important to revise and review, as we've discussed previously, what the meaning of each of these rulings is. What's the implication of it? Right? So for example, obligatory are the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has obligated us to do, which if we do, we get rewarded, and if we don't do, we will be punished for it, or we will be sinful for it. Recommendation are things that we should do, mustahab actions, things that we should do. If we do them, we get a reward. If we don't do them, there is no sin in that case. The dislike actions are things that we should avoid, and if we avoid them, we get reward, and if we do them, inshallah, there is no sin upon that person. And the haram actions are the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forbidden us to do. If we do them, there is a punishment for it, and if we avoid it, there is a reward for it. From the obligations of answering the call to nature is shielding oneself from urine. This is very important. One of the things the Prophet ﷺ said that people will be punished for in their graves is not using or answering the call to nature with the right etiquette. And from those things is soiling themselves with urine and not cleaning themselves properly. So it's very important that when we use the washroom, we make sure we do it in a way that we won't get that urine on our clothes or on our bodies, and that we clean ourselves appropriately from it. And the second is covering the awra, or the private part. So you should do it in a private area where no one can see you. This is from its obligations. From its recommendations are to go to a place far from people and conceal oneself from them. And you have to realize that back in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, there were not formal washrooms, especially inside the house. There was an area you would have to go outside of your house to use the washroom. And so from the recommendation in that case is to go far away from people and conceal oneself from them. So for example, if you're camping, you make sure you try to go to an area that's far away from where people would be, and to conceal yourself. Say the supplication upon entering the place for answering the call of nature. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-khubuthi wal-khaba'ith, which is, oh Allah, I seek refuge in you from the male and female devils. From its disliked actions is touching the private part with the right hand. This is from the disliked actions of answering the call to nature. From its disliked actions is making with the right hand istinja, cleaning the private parts using water, or istijmar, which we're going to talk about more inshallah in a future video. Speaking, especially if it is by making dhikr. So it is disliked to speak while you are answering the call of nature. While you're using the washroom, you should try to avoid speaking. This is from the etiquette of answering the call to nature. From the things that are forbidden to do while answering the call to nature is facing the qibla, the direction of the Kaaba, or turning one's back to it. And it's disliked in the case where one is inside of a building. So what one should do is, if you are building a house, or you are in the outdoors and you need to answer the call to nature, don't face the Kaaba and don't turn your back to it. So if you have the ability to build your own home, you should try to avoid facing the Kaaba or turning your back to it. You should not do that. Make the direction of answering the call to nature in this way. Otherwise, if you're in a building that is already built and it's inside, it's between walls, then inshallah there's no sin upon you. And this is what the Sahaba used to do after they had expanded the Muslim empire to certain areas, the Muslim nation to certain areas. They found the washrooms were already built, and they would use it, and so inshallah there's no harm in this case. Relieving oneself where people pass by or in their public places. So again, if you're in a place, let's say camping, because this is more equivalent to what people back in the day would have to have faced, you don't do it in a place where people are going to pass by or go by, right? You do it somewhere far away, in this case where people wouldn't be harmed by that. And urinating in stagnant water that doesn't move, because you're going to cause it to become impure. You're going to cause it to become go bad, and people and animals would want to make use from that water. So don't do it in stagnant water that is still, that doesn't move. And so these are some of the etiquettes to answering the call of nature that the Shaykh mentioned in his book. And from the etiquettes as well, it's recommended to enter the washroom with your left foot and to exit with your right, and also to say the dua upon exiting, which is ghufranak, to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive you. And so these are just a couple of things that we can add to what the Shaykh mentioned. And inshallah, I look forward to seeing you in a future video as we continue to go deeper into the topic of the fiqh of purification. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.